Royal insiders say Princess Charlotte's historic first will break a toxic royal family cycle in the hallowed halls of Buckingham Palace, where tradition is etched into the very stone. A quiet revolution is being charted. According to multiple senior courtiers and sources close to the Prince and Princess of Wales, a decision regarding Princess Charlotte is set to dismantle a centuries-old pillar of royal succession, one that has perpetuated a subtle but damaging cycle of inequality within the monarchy. The revolution is not one of abdication or scandal, but of a simple yet profound legal document: Charlotte's birth certificate. For the first time in the history of the British monarchy, a younger brother will not displace his elder sister in the line of succession. This is thanks to the 2013 Succession to the Crown Act, which eradicated male primogeniture for those born after October 28, 2011. But insiders now reveal that Prince William and Princess Catherine are determined to ensure this legal change is not just a footnote in history, but a lived reality that will actively heal what one aide termed the Windsor wound of the overlooked sister, the ghosts of spares and heirs. To understand the weight of this moment, one must first glance back at the patterns of the past. The monarchy's history is littered with the stories of sisters whose birthright was ceded to their younger brothers. The most poignant modern example is that of Princess Anne. The Princess Royal is the embodiment of "don't complain, don't explain" before it was a phrase a former palace advisor shared. She was born with an iron will and a work ethic that outstripped nearly everyone around her. Yet, from the moment her younger brother Andrew was born, she was effectively sidelined in the hierarchy. The message, though never spoken aloud, was clear: your brother, by virtue of his gender, matters more to the institution than you do. Anne, despite now being one of the hardest working royals, spent decades watching her brothers, whose public contributions and personal scandals often overshadowed her steadfast service, occupy a more privileged space in the royal structure. This dynamic, insiders suggest, created an unspoken tension and a culture of competition rather than collaboration. The toxic cycle isn't just about the title, explains Dr. Eleanor Sutton, a historian specializing in modern monarchy. It's about the psychological imprint it leaves on the family structure. It tells the daughter that her position is conditional and secondary. It tells the son that he is inherently more valuable, regardless of his merit or effort. This breeds resentment, insecurity, and a warped sense of entitlement that has, in previous generations, manifested in disastrous ways, from the reckless behavior of spares to the profound loneliness of the heirs. It is this very cycle that William and Catherine, having witnessed its effects firsthand in the tumultuous relationships of the previous generation, are determined to break. The Cambridge Way, a conscious uncoupling from tradition. Sources close to the family describe the Wales household as a deliberate project in normalcy, but with a royal twist. It's not just about school runs and bedtime stories. It's about actively architecting a new kind of royal dynamic. The key to this project is the relationship between their three children, and specifically, the bond between Prince George, 10, and Princess Charlotte, 8. William and Catherine refer to George and Charlotte as the team, a friend of the couple revealed. From the very beginning, they have been meticulous in ensuring that Charlotte never, for a single second, feels that her role is lesser than her brother's. The legal change was a gift, but they are the ones ensuring it is enacted in spirit every single day. This philosophy is said to be heavily influenced by Catherine's grounded upbringing and William's own complex feelings about the weight of destiny he inherited. William, who saw the pressure break his own father and the isolation contribute to his mother's misery, is determined to create a supportive unit. You see it in the way they speak to them in public, the way they position them for photographs. The friend continued. Charlotte is never an afterthought. She is often the one leading the way, her confidence palpable. William has said privately that her spirit reminds him of his grandmother, the Queen, but with the freedom to be herself. This conscious effort extends to their education, their responsibilities, and even their friendships. The children are raised to see each other as allies in a unique life, not as rivals for a hereditary prize. The practical power of a precedent. The real test of this new philosophy, however, will come as the children grow older. This is where the historic first moves from theory to practice. Under the old system, Prince Louis V would have leapfrogged his sister to be third in line. Now, Charlotte's position is secure, and this has profound practical implications. It changes everything, a senior courtier working on future planning stated. We are not just planning for one future king and a supporting cast. We are planning for a king and a princess who will be his equal in all but title. For the first time, we have a sister-heir dynamic, not a brother-spare one. This means that Charlotte's education, her military training should she choose it, her royal patronages, and her state duties are being considered with a long-term, senior role in mind. She is not being groomed for a life in the shadows, but for a life of frontline service alongside her brother. Think of it like the reign of Elizabeth II, but with a sibling partner, the courtier mused. The Queen had Princess Margaret, but their roles were fundamentally different and often fraught with tension. We are looking at a potential future where King George VII and Princess Charlotte operate as a dual force, a partnership built on a lifetime of shared preparation and mutual respect, untainted by the bitterness of usurped birthright. This model could solve one of the monarchy's perennial problems, the underutilization of its second-tier members. Instead of a spare, like Prince Harry, who struggled to find a defined purpose and often clashed with the institution, a securely positioned Princess Charlotte could become one of the monarchy's greatest assets, sharing the immense burden of the crown without threatening its holder. Healing the generational divide. The impact of this shift is not lost on the older generation. It is understood that King Charles III, who oversaw the implementation of the Succession Act as part of a modernizing agenda, is fully supportive of his son and daughter-in-law's approach. Princess Anne, the living embodiment of the old system's iniquity, is said to be particularly pleased. Anne sees in Charlotte a version of her own life, but with the shackles removed. A longtime confidant of the Princess Royal said, "She has always believed that competence should trump gender. I think she takes a quiet, personal satisfaction in knowing that the system that constrained her will not constrain her great niece. She sees it as a long overdue correction." This intergenerational endorsement is crucial. It prevents the new model from being seen as a rebellious act by the Waleses, but rather as an evolution embraced by the institution itself. Of course, the path is not without its challenges. The media's intense scrutiny, the inevitable comparisons between the siblings, and the unique pressures of their roles will still exist. Yet, the foundation is different. The narrative is no longer pre-written as one of rivalry. As Dr. Sutton concludes, for centuries, the monarchy was a prisoner to its own archaic succession rules, creating dysfunctional family dynamics that played out on the world stage. What William and Catherine are doing is perhaps the most radical act of their tenure so far. They are using a legal technicality to enact profound emotional intelligence. They are not just raising a future queen and her siblings, they are nurturing a family. And in doing so, they are giving the monarchy something it has desperately needed for a very long time: a chance at a healthier, happier, and more sustainable future. The revolution will not be televised with pomp and ceremony. It is happening quietly, in the classrooms of Lambrook School and the playing fields of Anmer Hall. It is written in the unwavering gaze of a young princess who knows her place is hers to define, and in the bond with her older brother, who is being taught that his greatest strength will not be his title, but his team.